Oh, here we go. Nice frothy coffee. Lovely, lovely jubbly, everyone. Lovely jubbly. Hope you're all well. Hope you're... Ooh. Where do I get my coffee from? Brazil? No. No. Taco. See, this. I was the same when I was a teenager. You don't need caffeine when you're in your teens. You got too much energy. You need all the help you can get the older you become. I think there's enough of you in here, of course, are around the same age as me and even older. And yes, caffeine it becomes a must-have the older you get, trust me. So you'll learn. Just remember this moment. Just remember this, what I'm telling you right now. Oh, yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you're good. In all seriousness, though, I do probably consume a bit too much caffeine, and I do try and cut back every now and then, but need it today. Feeling a bit tired for some reason. Maybe it's the heat that's doing it for me. But these watch-alongs wake me up as, yes, we have qualifying, thankfully still on time. I don't know if you guys just tuned into the F2 race. It was delayed. Was held up because of a red flag, because someone decided to park their car on their roof. But yes, the race got back underway again. And yeah, thankfully, we will have qualifying on time at 3 o'clock. Took me long enough to grow the beans, yeah. Now, same here. Now I drink American with an extra shot or two. I've still got too much of a sweet tooth. I like a little bit of caramel syrup. Sugar-free, though. Sugar-free. Or a couple of sweeteners. But yes, yeah, caffeine is a must. I agree, Alan. Especially in the mornings when you're going to work. Yeah, trust me, you need it. So 200 grams of caffeine daily intake is just good enough. There we go, Mark. Yeah, do I exceed that, though? I don't know if I do, but still. There have been some times where my heart has, probably beat a bit too quickly, and I'm like, why is it doing that? And I'm like, oh, I had silly amounts of coffees this day. So, but anyway, Gabrielle, you have it on the telly, but you've got it on mute. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Do you know what? That's always the biggest compliment. Where am I looking for? I'm looking for my headphones. Not these, the headphones for the TV. Yeah, no, it's the biggest compliment you guys provide me, honestly, that you decide to listen to myself rather than the TV commentary, because of course they are professionals, and I'm not a professional. I'm just someone who loves F1. So yeah, the fact that you guys do enjoy these streams, big thank you. And of course, we're pushing for that 50,000 subscribers. If you can hit that subscribe button, you get to do so. Let's do it. We're nearly at 48,000. We do get quite a few subscribers on race day, but of course, it's a lot to ask for 2,000 subscribers. But we're seeing if we can get there. But hey, Grace, good to see you. Oh God, right. Try saying your name. Atisham. Sorry if I butchered that. Atisham. Yeah, if I've butchered that, I apologise. But yes, welcome everyone. You don't like to have too much blood in your cafe. There's too much blood in your cafe. But welcome everyone. Hope you're good. Good to see you regulars pouring back in. Of course, if you missed FP3 earlier, it was a bit of an interesting one, where Lando was quickest again, as this is a track that he likes. Of course, he still has to get it done in qualifying. Q3 is where it matters and is where he has failed in recent, or this season, shall we say. But yes, we saw quite a few spins in FP3, and I wonder if that's going to be a theme of qualifying today. Drivers even more so on the limits in qualifying, and well, with those gravel strips in particular on the exit of turn 9 and turn 10, it is catching a few drivers out. And we also saw a few drivers lose control through turn 3 and turn 1. So plenty of areas, while it's a very short track here at Red Bull Ring, the shortest lap that we do get on the calendar, time-wise, not distance-wise. Yeah, there's still plenty of areas of concern for the drivers. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting qualifying. It's going to be super close. I think the closest of the year. But we'll see. Maybe it will be the largest margin of the year at the shortest circuit. I doubt it, but yeah, we'll see. Hey Stefano, good to see you. Heart is beating fast. Can't wait to see the drama. Yeah, not long to go, 20 minutes. We'll wait till the live data becomes available for us before we switch scene. Could we see a crash? It's difficult to see a crash at Red Bull Ring because there is quite a lot of room. So thankfully, there's not barriers so close. I mean, with the speeds that they're going, yes, I mean, they could violently go off into the barrier, I guess, maybe through turn 10. But we've seen some big spins through turn 10 already on the exit, and which is the last corner, basically. And they've been fine, and they haven't been close to the barriers. Turn 1 is the only other area where you could maybe see a crash. I mean, we have seen a crash at turn 7 before. If you remember, Lewis Hamilton not too many years ago got caught out by a tailwind or a gust of wind through turn 7. I think he was fastest at the time through the first sector. Was looking like he could maybe have fought for pole position. One of the few times that Mercedes in this era could have fought for pole position. And yeah, he went off into the barriers. So yeah, there are areas. There are areas, but it's more likely that you just go into a spin and there could be a red flag because of it. Could get in the yellow flags, could get in the way of obviously drivers. You have to slow down. So yeah, track position is going to be key here in qualifying, with it being a very short track as well. Impeding needs to be kept an eye on today. There could be drivers, of course, getting in the way. With it being a short track, you need to ensure that you are clearly out of the way. Hey Rod, the original track was one of the best. Awesome races. Yeah, I love the Red Bull Ring. I love racing on it, and I think it's a great track for racing. Not just in the sim, but of course in real life. We've seen some absolute brilliant races here. Santia, you love how the channel is growing. Hope to see 100k subs soon. Me too, buddy. Me too. No, look, the channel is growing. It's going in the right direction. That's the thing. Like, I can't complain at all. It's been great to see the growth this year. Last year, we more than doubled our subscriber count, and I'm hoping to do the same again this year as well. And hitting 50k, it might not happen this weekend, but hopefully it will happen at least next weekend with Silverstone. And yeah, it brings us, it's a great milestone, and it brings us a step closer to doing this full time and providing you guys content full time. I'd love to do more videos in the midweek, but of course with family to prioritise and still my day job that I have to attend to pay the bills and support the family, I don't get a lot of time to put those faults and edit and things like that in the week. But yeah, I'm trying to get a few more sim races in, which I do really enjoy. And I'll try and chuck in my opinions when I can. So Stroll was your boy today, Stefano. You are banking a lot on Stroll. You're banking a lot of him. You remember that 2022, both Russell and Hamilton went off. The car looked very unstable. Yeah, it was the wind direction changed in the middle sector, and it caught them both out in relation to whatever their setup was. I mean, I can testify this week. So in iRacing, I know it's not F1 real life. I know that, but in iRacing in particular, there's this week where I've been racing, there's a tailwind into turn 1 and into turn 6. And I tell you what, it really unsettles the car in sim. So no doubt, I can only imagine what it feels like in real life for the drivers if they get caught out by a gust of wind or if there's a tailwind into some of the corners. It can really unsettle the car. Dan, you're not suggesting it's down to you, but the last channel you subscribed to now has 101,000 subs. Well, you're clearly a good omen, Dan. You clearly have a good eye for channels that are heading in the right direction. So I take that as a positive, buddy. And yeah, thank you for joining the pit crew yesterday. Hey, 23, good to see you. Stuffey, who do I... Afan, Stuffey, who do I think will take pole today? I'm back in Lando. Said it yesterday. I think this is a Lando track. And I think the only person who can, stop Lando from getting pole is himself. That's my personal opinion. As we know, he's been quick at a number of circuits this year, and the main person who stopped him getting pole position is himself. And I think that will be the case today. So, hey, Aliyah, good to see you. Good to see you, Aliyah. FIA probably having thoughts of taking Austria off the calendar the minute they still have parts of the desert not having a track. Oh, God, I know. I really hope circuits like this remain on the calendar because it does provide great racing. Really does. And it is a historic track as well. It wasn't always known as the Red Bull Ring. I can't remember its previous name, but it's been a circuit that has been used for motorsport for many a year. And I think, especially for open wheel racing, it provides carnage. It's one of the few tracks as well that we go to in modern F1 where overtaking is possible. And we need to keep those circuits on the calendar. So, as of yesterday, you're officially a university graduate. Congratulations! I know exactly how you feel. I passed my university. I got my university degree last year as well. And I'd say it's a massive... This year, actually. This year or last year? Last year. No, this year? No, last year. Oh my God, honestly, my memory is completely out of whack. Yeah, last year. I don't know exactly how you feel. It's a massive weight off your shoulders. So congratulations. A1 ring, that's it, the A1 ring. Michelle, do we know the weather forecast for tomorrow? Yes, it's dry. No rain in the air, so. Please respect the history of the sport with the legendary EU tracks. I mean, not even just EU tracks, even just like the tracks that have been purpose-built. Like, we don't want to go to street circuits everywhere. We don't want to go to some of these boring tracks that just pay a ridiculous amounts of money. Of course, we know money makes the sport go round and the world go round, but look, at the end of the day, you still have to keep some heritage for the sport, so you don't want it to lose its soul. And yeah, that's unfortunately what some... I mean, the fact that Spa's going on rotation is absolutely ridiculous, in my personal opinion. So, but thank you for the subs flying in, by the way, guys. I do see them. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Greg, good to see you all the way from Australia. Let's go Piastri. Unsurprisingly, an Aussie supporting another Aussie? No. Why hasn't Mercedes given Russell a new contract yet? Are they looking for Max? The short answer, yes. We've spoken about that over this weekend. Yeah, they're still in discussions, or they're still seeking Max Verstappen, so that's why George has not signed on the dotted line yet. It does seem like George probably wants to sign that contract, but yeah, they're holding out for Max. And I think we mentioned earlier on, I think the higher ups at Mercedes particularly want Max, and it might be something that Toto Wolff is not particularly in control of in that regard. You think the original name was Oshaleben? Oh, that rings a bell, actually. My field is not the kind where I can work with just a normal degree. I need a minimum of a master's, but mostly PhD. Do you know what? That's the best thing about... Well, then your university degree is actually beneficial to you. There's too many university degrees now. Bit off topic from F1, but yeah, there's too many university degrees now that aren't relevant to you going out into the real world and actually earning a living. So my degree was relevant because I then got a monetary benefit, pay rise after completing it. So I'm in construction, I'm a surveyor, so yeah, I had to do a surveying degree, and that's beneficial. There's unfortunately a few degrees out there that you pay a lot of money to go to university in the UK in particular, and well, probably university across the world, to be honest with you, and too many of them don't get you a benefit when you get out into the real world. So, but no, congrats. To be honest, I was George and my team wanted me out for Max. I'd be fuming. Yeah, I mean, look, as we mentioned, I think George will be in demand regardless. I think there'll be plenty of drivers up and down the grid who are in seats at the moment, even with contracts, that will be hoping that George Russell stays at Mercedes, because I think, regardless of contracts, they can always be bought out. And yeah, I think there's a few teams up and down that grid who aren't necessarily at the top that would definitely take George Russell's services if he became available. Similar to Carlos Sainz, you know. Do I think Ferrari have a chance at a podium? On pace, outright pace, no. No, but you never know at the Red Bull Ring. You never know. Right, live data's just got ready for us, so we'll switch scene in a second. Charles, I say get rid of most modern street circuits. They're unsafe and stupid. Go back to the real men racetracks, but that will only happen when the babies get out of F1. Well, it's only when F1 stops becoming money. Unfortunately, the street circuits, the cities that host them, are willing to put forward the money to host them, because then they get the tourism, and then they get their city is showcased to the whole world. It's more so about the destination rather than the actual track itself. That's the problem for a lot of these circuits. I mean, even Vegas, look, Vegas is there because of the destination. While thankfully we have had 2 good races there, and it has provided good racing for us, many of us, rightfully so, were concerned about the addition of Vegas, but it was only there because of its destination. It was there to showcase the city, and yeah, that's it. But thankfully, it's one of the few street circuits that has provided us some good racing. So yeah, but I don't want to continue to see more and more street circuits, more temporary circuits added to the calendar. We don't want that. There's plenty of suitable circuits out there that have provided great racing in the past and can do now today. So, yeah, but it all comes down to money, unfortunately. Does any garage want Joss risky for PR? That is the question, isn't it? Is that dynamic behind the scenes? But it's the Verstappen name and the fans that he will bring with him, of course. And that's too kind of good of an opportunity to turn down. And, of course, primarily his talent. So I think Max is super talented to drive in any car, to be honest with you, and he'd get up to speed pretty quickly because he lives and breathes racing, and he's a super adaptable driver. I'd personally love to see Max move to another team because I think not that he needs to prove anything. I just think it would just be great for F1. It was great when Lewis moved from Mercedes. It's good to see, I think, top drivers move to different teams. That's what we want. It spices things up a bit, and it also is intriguing to see how they will handle being in a different team. So yeah, that's what I would like to see. All right. There we go. Not long to go until qualifying gets underway, guys. Q1, not long to go. You miss Sepang, Malaysia. I agree. Malaysia is a circuit. I think Malaysia and Istanbul, they're the two circuits that should be 100% on the calendar. I mean, bring them back. Bring them back. That Istanbul circuit, oh, that is just like the chef's kiss of a racing circuit. Always provides great racing. The circuit layout is brilliant. And it also has a great location that doesn't always provide the same weather conditions as well, which always spices things up. So Hockenheim's another one. Yeah, Hockenheim is similar. Great racing circuit. Also provides some good racing. And yeah, similar thing. Increment weather. It's never always sunny there. So yeah. Malaysia was great, physically tough for the drivers. Yeah, my biggest memory, or my strongest memory of the Malaysian circuit was, do you remember the qualifying session where they all rushed out there in Q3? They all rushed out to get the lap time in. It was basically a single lap shootout because the rain was fast approaching, and a couple of them got caught out at the end of their qualifying lap, and it was pretty much just a rush. No one could absolutely slow down for their outlap. It was just everyone was rushing. It was a race, a literal one lap race to get to the finish line, start your lap, and finish it off as well. So that's a very strong memory that I have, as well as many other, of course, good races that they had there. So Multi 21 Seb, yeah, was that Malaysia as well? Was it Malaysia, or was that Korea? I thought that was Korea. Was that the Korean circuit? You want everyone to go back to India so that you can go and watch it. Maybe in the future, yeah. I think there were talks about that, so. Reverse Monaco lap and it will improve tenfold. He's done racing today. He did race earlier on. Yes, he raced in the F2. I don't know where he finished, though. I missed the end of it. I wasn't really paying attention, so. Magny Cours. I think the thing is with Magny Cours is that Magny Cours is one of those tracks that is not suitable for modern F1 now. It's not large enough. And I think with the nature of its flowing corners and like the last chicane, there isn't really... I think with the fact of like dirty air being an issue, I don't think Magny Cours would be suitable for modern F1. I just don't think you would see more of a procession than you would actually any overtaking because of the nature of the track and the corners that it has on it. So hope one day F1 will be in South Africa. Well, Kiel Army did just get approval to upgrade to a Grade A start. Oh, there we go. Qualifying. Just an FYI, guys. Let me move this down for you here. We have just got a notification that qualifying will be delayed. The start of qualifying will be delayed. That's probably because of what occurred with the F2 race earlier. There was quite a long postponement with a red flag. A driver got put on his roof into turn 3. I don't know which driver it actually was. So a slight delay to qualifying. We will keep you updated on when that is going to get underway. Alpine are falling off this year. Yeah. Yeah, they're not willing. The thing is, Alpine aren't really upgrading their car because they're moving to Mercedes engines next year, Mercedes gearbox. There's not really, apart from maybe obviously finishing higher up in the constructors, but there's not really anything worthwhile for them to invest in the team. And they're also looking to try and sell the team as well. So they're probably trying to limit as much amount of money they want to they can spend as possible at the moment. So. Is the F2 race still red flagged? No, it ended, but I believe it's delayed at the moment, qualifying because of that red flag that we saw. So we'll wait for an update at the top right-hand side of your screen. That is the race control messages. So they will inform us when the session is going to get back on, is going to get underway, and I will update the timer, the countdown clock here, once we are informed of that. I can't imagine it'll be too long. But the F2 race only finished, well, just after half past, I think it was. It was around the 25-2 mark. So obviously they have procedures that they have to go through, and the marshals and no doubt probably the FIA representatives, whoever's there, I imagine they have like post-race procedures that they have to follow. Oh, there you go. Only 5 minutes past the hour. So we'll update the countdown. Not too long to wait. Only an additional 5 minutes. That's good. So that will be 3:05, won't it? It'll be 3:05. So we're talking an additional 5 minutes here. There we go. I'll move that back up there because there's no further messages to be informed at the moment. That pile up in F2 looked like one of my sim races. It really did indeed. The F3 was the same as well. Some of the moves from the F3 drivers were shocking. Absolutely shocking. If I could race an F1 car around any track, which would I choose? Silverstone. I just love that track. Love it. Would I be fit enough to drive an F1 car around Silverstone? Probably not. But I'd love to. Who's my favourite driver? On the track right now, Lewis Hamilton. My favourite driver of all time is Mika Häkkinen. Afternoon, everyone, though. Afternoon. Welcome, everyone, for filtering in right now. Over 1,000 of you in the stream. Yes, we have just a slight delay to qualifying because of what happened with the F2 race. Prior to this, there was a red flag. So, yes, because of that, the qualifying has been delayed by 5 minutes. But as you can see there, 7 and a bit minutes until the session gets underway. So we don't have to wait too long for qualifying. Hey, Ollie, good to see you, mates. Humid weather to qualify. Enjoying the lovely but way too humid weather. Yeah, I've been out once today this morning and it was just horrible. And I'm refusing to leave the house, I think, for most of this weekend. It's just better to just stay indoors. Silverstone is very left front heavy. It is indeed, yes. Ultrawide, one word of advice to you as you join uni next month. First time too far away from home. Just try and enjoy it, man. Just try and enjoy it. You'll never have this experience again. So I never actually attended uni. I worked at the same time. So yeah, just enjoy it before you get into the real world. Yeah, back from the sunny speech in the Costa del Sol, Dan. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm still fitter than Crofty. Yeah, Crofty is a bit... yeah, I'm going to reserve my comments there. Yeah, I am fitter than Crofty, that's for sure. Quantity surveyors who are F1 commentators should get a YouTube plaque, a gold YouTube plaque. I agree. Yeah, no, good to see you. Yeah, welcome everyone. Am I going to put the Ferrari shirt on? No. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to do it to you Ferrari fans. The Ferrari shirt will make a reappearance at some point this season. I may wear it in practice because then there's no jinx on it, you know. It's too hot, Steve, isn't it? It's too hot. It's too hot. It's been raining and cloudy on the Isle of Man. I just went for a swim in the sea. Yeah, but you got a nice sea breeze. That's the difference. You got a nice sea breeze. We don't have that here in London. So, Yuki needs to turn up. Yeah, big day for Yuki. Qualifying, of course, is where he has faltered. He has had some decent results. I say decent results, some decent recovery drives, but he's been starting down in the bottom 5 and from the pit lane. That's not suitable for Yuki in that Red Bull. And, of course, if he wants any hope of trying to retain that seat. Of course, we know the car's difficult to drive. He has confirmed that after, of course, the issues we've seen with Perez and Lawson. But with the Honda connection ending with Red Bull, we know that they give him a considerable amount of money. But with Ford coming in, I can't imagine Ford are going to be too keen to want to use a Honda-affiliated driver in that second seat. So Tsunoda has to do a lot to prove that he is worth the opportunity of that Red Bull seat next year. And, of course, to prove that he's still worth a shot in F1. Because I think, let's be honest, there's no real... Where else is he going to go? He's not going to go back down to RB. All the other seats are taken now for 2026. Where is he going to go? We know that the link is potentially to Honda, but Alonso's there. Having a year out of F1 is, when you've been in it, it's very difficult to get that opportunity to come back in it. Very few drivers get that opportunity. So Yuki needs to, try and showcase that he is worthy of being held onto that seat for next year when there's a fresh slate with the new regs. And, of course, to any potential other teams that he is still worth an opportunity, a driver to bank on for the new regs. So do I think the Ferrari new floor makes a difference at all? They don't sound too positive. I'm sure it has made a positive difference to the Ferrari car, but the problem is that they're just so far behind the other teams already. So they just... I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Will we see a shock here from Ferrari? I mean, it would be a shock if they were to get into the top 2. That is for sure. I think it'd even be a shock if they were in the top 3, to be honest with you, with how that car has been performing. But we'll see. Does it improve their race pace? Maybe. But it's too early to tell at the moment. We'll have to judge whether the updates have worked or not after this weekend. Bottas is probably a Cadillac driver for next year. Maybe. I mean, he's definitely gunning for it. I imagine there's a few drivers gunning for it. Perez has been strongly linked as well. I can see both of them. I wouldn't put both of them in to the team, though. I think you have to choose one of them, and then you can take a bit more of a risk on your second driver, whether it's a younger driver, an American driver. Of course, there's not many of them out there who would be suitable for that seat with the super license requirements and stuff. But, I think you have an experienced driver and then you have a bit more of a gamble in that second seat. So, delayed start. Yeah, there was a delayed start only by 5 minutes due to what occurred with the red flag in the F2 race. So, Perez has got more money backing him up, though. I hope Bottas does get it. Yeah, Perez, that's always the thing with Perez, is that he brings a significant amount of sponsorship with him and merchandise sales as well. Like, he's outsold Verstappen at Red Bull with his merchandise. Like, that's a feat in itself, isn't it? So Yuki has been scoring points from outside. Like, that's what I mean, in the bottom 5. The thing is, though, is that I guess most of his points, though, have come from him doing the overcut. And it does seem to be that Yuki does fare better with that Red Bull in race trim than he does in qualifying. Understandable to an extent, because of course the car is at its lightest and you're trying to drive it as quick as possible, and that's where it's twitchy. The more fuel that's on board, it's probably obviously more nimble, and maybe the characteristics of the car are more suitable for Yuki to drive in race trim. But yeah, you can't be starting down in 20th and hoping to sneak a point, can you? You can't be doing that every race. He needs to get into Q3, and today is a good opportunity for him. But there looks to be a few teams and a few drivers will be looking who have fared quite well here in practice thus far. Bortoletto is a driver to keep an eye out on. Finished in the top 10 in all practice sessions. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda we just mentioned. Lance Stroll has been up there and has been pretty much best of the rest for the majority of this week as well. Never ruled out Fernando Alonso. The Williams look to be quite off the pace. I think Williams, if they get into Q3, that is a massive turnaround for them from practice. We have seen them around the bottom 5 and in it for most of the practice sessions this weekend. Doesn't seem like they're on it at all. Same as Alpine and the Haas cars, and who knows what the RB drivers can do. Lawson looks not too shabby. Neither does Hadjar as well. So only less than a minute until green light, guys, and Q1 gets underway. I hope you're ready for what is going to be a very intriguing and a very close qualifying session here at the Red Bull Ring. I think it's going to be... qualifying has been brilliant this season, as we know. It's been super close, and I think we could get the closest one yet. Julie, thank you for the £2, by the way. Much appreciated. Thank you for the donation. And everyone who has been tuning in, as always, and you continue to do so. Those of you who, if you are enjoying the stream, hit the like button. And if you can subscribe, we're trying to get 50,000 subs. Can we do it? It's a long way. It's a bit of a tall order this weekend, but it'd be nice to get somewhere close. We're nearly at 48,000 subs. We need 14 more subscribers. So yes, thank you for joining. But here we go. 5 seconds until green light, and Q1 will be underway here at the Red Bull Ring. Let's go. Countdown is done. Slight delay here on my section, but here we go. Green light. Pit exit is open. Who is going to go out there first? We have 18 minutes of this qualifying session, and, well, it seems that Alex Albon is going to go out there first. Now, this track, will there be any track evolution here? Probably not so much. I think the issue here is going to be temperatures. As you can see, track temperature has increased from this morning. It is 47.8 degrees Celsius right now. That is pushing very, very hot, nearly as hot as what we saw in Canada last time around. If you want to do conversion to Fahrenheit, you can get your calculators out and do that. It's above my head right now. But yes, welcome everyone for tuning in. Hope you are ready for this qualifying session. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes, shall we? We have over 2,000 of you in the stream right now. Big thank you. But Alex Albon out there first. Carlos Sainz is following him closely. Now, it is a very short track here. Of course, 104.3 is what we saw pole position last year, and that's actually the time that we saw Lando Norris set in FP1 as well. So I do suspect that when we do see the last final runners in Q3, we will see that 104 second barrier breached. But we've got a couple of qualifying sessions first to get through. But Alex Albon just taking his time through this middle sector to try and get his tyres into the right window. We know how important it is on these Pirelli tyres. We are on the one of the softest compound tyres, of course, the 6E. 6 is now the softest compound we can use. We saw that at Canada. We've seen it at Imola and Monaco. This time around, we are one step harder. So we are still towards the softest end of the scale, though. So we've got the C3 here. This weekend is the hard tyre. The C4 is the medium compound, and the C5 is the soft compound tyre. So these tyres will be durable enough to go for a single push lap. Maybe we'll see multiple push laps, as there is only a few corners on this circuit. 10 to be exact, but really, there's only about 8 of them, because I think turn 2 and turn 5 are very, they're not really corners, are they, to be honest with you? They're little kinks. You're still full throttle through them, as Alex Albon heads up into turn 3 there, hard on the braking, of course, uphill, right-hander there, very easy to lock up, and we've already seen drivers go on, locking up through there, and actually spin, as we saw Colapinto earlier. But a 16.681 from Albon, and a 16.648 for Lance Stroll through that first sector. Not too shabby from them, but nothing really to shout home about. The fastest first sector we've seen here this weekend is a 16.2. So if you're seeing anything outside of the 16s or in the high 16s, it's not really that good of a first sector. 29.351 for Albon in the middle sector there. Of course, similarly, we want to, the fastest times we're going to see there are in the 28s. That is what we're going to see probably from the fastest guys, as I think we saw 28s earlier on in pre-practice 3. But Albon sets the first time here at 106.015, and, well, that's not quick at all, to be perfectly honest with you. I do expect that drivers will get into the 104s pretty quickly here, and the 105s, as Lance Stroll goes a few hundred slower, 400 slower than that of Alex Albon. But maybe it is a multiple laps on the same tyres here. Maybe the tyres aren't quite up into that temperature window right yet, as Fernando Alonso dives back into the pit lane. So for some reason, he wasn't too happy. Maybe he had to bail out of that push lap. 18.7 in the first sector indicates that maybe he had an issue through turn 1. As Esteban Ocon goes to a 105.7 in that first run there, and goes 2 and a bit temps, well, nearly 3 temps quicker than Alex Albon. Colapinto on a push lap at the moment, as is Pierre Gasly. Gasly's going to cross the line. The Alpines have struggled here this weekend in practice, and they have it all to do to get just into Q2. And, well, Gasly there, half a second back off of Esteban Ocon already. Colapinto 1.2 seconds back as well. So both of those have made errors, in particular in the last sector, it seems. 20 flat for Gasly and a 20.8 for Colapinto. We are seeing drivers go wide through there. We have seen multiple drivers have spins, even Max Verstappen out of the last corner here with the gravel strips that have been added from last year, to ensure that drivers stay within track limits. And yes, because of that, we have seen some spinners in practice, as Lando Norris is making his way out the pit lane, as has Max Verstappen as well. But the two Stake F1 cars are on a flying lap. We'll stay with them. They've been in very good form recently with those updates that they have put on the car. Bortoleto has not been outside the top 10 in practice all weekend thus far. Hulkenberg is looking for his third straight race weekend in a row for scoring points, of course, off the back of Spain and Canada. A great P5 in Canada, in Spain, of course, overtaking Lewis Hamilton there in the closing stages of a hectic Spanish Grand Prix. But Nico Hulkenberg, a 16.7, about a tenth slower than that of his teammate in the first sector, but Bortoleto, but he does respond there with a fastest first sector out of anyone at 29.0. And Bortoleto, he's lost a bit of time there in the middle sector. It's so easy to do with these off-cambered corners. If you don't hit the apex, if you just drift slightly out through one of the corners, it is so easy to lose time. As Hulkenberg sets a 105.681. How about Bortoleto? Can he recover in the last sector? Well, he can, because he goes third, a tenth behind his teammate with the fastest last sector. So really there, it was only his middle sector that let him down. Otherwise, he would have been considerably better off and would have been top of the timing screens. But let's stay on board with who is on a flying lap at the moment, just waiting to see. So Max Verstappen is on a flying lap here. Let's stay on board with the Dutchman, of course, multiple race winner here. He is hoping for a strong performance. Of course, the Red Bull hasn't been particularly great on its tyres. It has updates here this weekend, no doubt, to address those issues in that Red Bull car. We know how quick Max is over a single lap, and well, he's just done a 16.370, fastest first sector, 3 tenths quicker than Lance Stroll, and Lando Norris has just gone second fastest there over 16.434. Max makes his way down to turn 4. Of course, we've seen many a driver go off into the gravel through that corner, even in qualifying, as it is an off-cambered corner, downhill braking as well. But Max making his way is through the middle sector. Lawson moves out of his way. He may feel a bit of dirty air from the Stake F1 car of Bortoleto through turn 7, though. The car very highly loaded through there. And, well, you can see, yes, maybe he has done, because Lando Norris does a 28.843 in that middle sector, whereas Verstappen was 3 tenths slower. So that is how important a bit of clean air is here, as Max does a 105.1, fastest in the first and last sector. But Lando Norris is going even quicker, and well, he does go 4 tenths quicker than Max Verstappen there. He gained 3 tenths in that middle sector, and he gained a couple of tenths in that last sector as well. So Max Verstappen getting a bit caught out by some dirty air, or maybe it's just that Red Bull not being as good in the middle sector compared to the McLaren, which we do expect to be strong here, as we have seen all weekend thus far. Oscar Piastri is coming. He's made an error through the middle sector. Oscar Piastri is having to slow down, as he did a 41.6 in the middle sector there. So I'll yet to see exactly what occurred, but Oscar Piastri had to back out of his push lap, as the Mercedes are on their flying laps at the moment. You can see how busy the track is right now. You catch traffic left, right and centre. And well, with Lando Norris's 104.6, that is not far off a pole position of last year. As I'm watching a replay of Lando Norris, as Lando Norris did dip wheels into the... it was Oscar Piastri. So Oscar Piastri bowed out of his lap in the middle sector, because through turn 4, as I mentioned, we see drivers go through the gravel there. That's exactly what Oscar Piastri did. He dipped his wheels into the gravel, and he had to bow out of his lap because he just lost a considerable amount of time. But it's a very busy circuit out there at the moment. Lando Norris fastest with a 104.6. Max Verstappen is in the pit lane 4 tenths back. I think Lando Norris will be okay, and he will probably not have to worry about going out again. But at the moment, it is currently Gasly, Behrman, Piastri. Yes, Piastri in the drop zone. He is currently on another cool-down lap after bailing out of that banker. Alonso, who is going green in the first and second sector, doesn't look to be that quick. Where will it put him as he comes through the last corner? Of course, he spun through turn 10 on Friday. No such thing this time around, as he makes his way across the start-finish line, and it's only good enough for 14th at the moment. So in the drop zone is Gasly, Behrman, Piastri and Colapinto. So let's stay on board with Oscar Piastri, shall we, as he is in the drop zone at the moment. He needs a good banker lap here. His worst qualifying this year at the moment is 4th place in Miami and at the Canadian Grand Prix. So that is for him, he has not started worst outside the second row. So is he going to be able to get a banker lap in here? You do suspect that McLaren, even if he's not completely on it, does have plenty in the tank to do a time sub 105. He's been around the 10th and a half, around the 10th to 10th and a half behind his teammate all this weekend. But for Piastri, he has a 22-point lead in the championship. For him, it's just about minimising, of course, the advantage that potentially his teammate can get over him. And, well, as we know, Norris is always his worst enemy. If Piastri is consistent and up there, then he's putting more and more pressure on his teammate, and he's more likely potentially to make a mistake. But Piastri, through that first sector, was a 16.454, and his middle sector is a sub 29 seconds. That's full fastest, so not too shabby from him as he makes his way through the last couple of corners. He might be getting a bit of dirty air from Alonso pitting though. How will that affect him? But this should be a decent enough lap time for him to get into the top 5, and it's decent enough for him to go P2. Over 3 tenths back from his teammate there, and a 105.004 is suitable enough, you do suspect, for Piastri to make his way through into Q2. So at the moment, with 7.5 minutes remaining, guys, we have Behrman. Oh, apologies. Gasly's just jumped up into P6. Wow, that was a good lap time from Gasly. I think that kind of just shows maybe what clean air can do for you. The margin to P1 is still very large, but that just shows if you can get a decent run here and you avoid dirty air, you avoid traffic, you can get a good lap time in relative terms to your opponents. Of course, pole position is a different matter entirely, but at the moment, yes, you've seen I just saw Alonso there. He didn't get impeded, but he did have a bit of a swapper on the rear because of some dirty air from a car ahead. So we have Bortoleto, Albon, Behrman, Alonso, and Carlos Sainz in the drop zone at the moment. Carlos Sainz on an outlap at the moment. Alex Albon is on a outlap as well. Is anyone on an actual push lap? Yes, Nico Hulkenberg is on a push lap, so we'll stay on board with him. Currently 13th at the moment. Not a lot to separate him. Only a 10th difference between him and the drop zone at the moment. Bortoleto is on a push lap as well. And that first sector, not particularly great. Yellow there for Bortoleto, but we'll see whether or not if he's taken too much out of his tyres and if they'll last for the remainder of this circuit with the tight, twisty, highly loaded middle sector there as Hulkenberg goes quicker again in the middle sector. A 29.0 from him at 7th fastest in the middle sector. First sector's a little bit off the pace, but it should move him up the standings here. We saw Gasly jump out of the bottom zone. Well, Hulkenberg, I think he could be jumping potentially into the top 5 here if he's got the last couple of corners correct. And he doesn't get the last couple of corners correct. A 19.958 there. And, well, to put that into perspective, that is slowest of everyone. That is everyone's fastest last sector. The worst one is Carlos Sainz with a 19.9. So Hulkenberg there, big moments in the last couple of corners, which cost him a considerable amount of time, and that means that he only improved by a single tenth and is up in, well, it's a single tenth? It was a single tenth, I believe. As I'm just watching the replay, it was all through turn 10. He just lost a lot of time there. Gabriel Bortoleto is good enough to make him up into P5. What a lap time there from Bortoleto. His middle sector Bortoleto is second fastest. He is only slower than Lando Norris in that middle sector Bortoleto last time around. What an unbelievable lap there from Gabriel Bortoleto. Hulk did report he's not getting the usual from the car. He should still be suitable enough for him to get through though, as Alex Albon's gone fastest in the middle sector. So there is improvement out there at the moment, as Alex Albon has gone green in the first sector. He's gone purple in the middle sector. He's second fastest in that first sector. Alex Albon could be going to the top of the timing screens here as he comes around the last corner, and he goes 5th fastest. Similarly, lost quite a considerable amount of time in the last couple of corners. Are those tyres lasting long enough in those last couple of corners? If you go too quick in the first and second sector, we will see. Or is it due to driver error? I'm watching the replay to see if that is the case. We'll keep one eye on Carlos Sainz as well, as he has only been able to put himself into 15th, so he is on a cool-down lap. Ocon is out lap now, and, well, that just shows that there is significant improvement out there at the moment as Lando Norris has gone back out onto the racetrack. I didn't think we would see Lando Norris back out there As Alex Albon, it does seem to be, I mean, the drivers aren't actually making any conscious mistakes from what I can see through the last couple of sectors. Through the last sector. So it does seem to be that really the tyres are just losing their grip and their life at the end of the lap. So that is very interesting to witness at the moment as I'm watching Carlos Sainz and... Well, Carlos Sainz, oh my goodness, Carlos Sainz had to massively catch the car through turn 4, and that is why he wasn't able to improve by that much. But yes, the drivers are on the limit through the last couple of corners, but they just don't have the grip and the commitment on throttle through that last sector, which is primarily just turn 9 and turn 13. Right, let's stay on board, shall we? Who's on a push lap? We'll stay on board with Lando Norris, as he'll be the first driver to come around and go for another push lap. He's on the same set of softs that he has already set his lap time on, so he is not wasting a brand new set of tyres for this. Can we see him potentially improve? A 104.672. We saw a 104.3 earlier on today in FP3 from Lando Norris himself. Fastest in FP2, fastest in FP3. And well, as Albon is reporting, check the floor for damage. So he's not too happy potentially with the car. He's had maybe a little bit of a runoff into the gravel as Norris does improve in that first sector. That's intriguing for Norris. It's not the fastest out of everyone, but it is a good first sector from Lando Norris. It's green. Let's see if he can continue this. He's been very quick in the middle sector, beaten at the moment by Alex Albon in that middle sector, but Alex unable to convert that fastest middle sector to a decent enough lap time. Well, it's a suitable lap time. Apologies, I'm doing Albon a disservice there as he's up in P5. And well, yes, Lando Norris on a set of used tyres goes quicker again in the middle sector, a 28.7, purple there for him. Oscar Piastri, how is he faring? Well, he's slightly slower than his fastest first sector, but only by a couple of hundredths, so still a decent first sector from Oscar Piastri. We'll see how he fares for the remainder of this lap as well. As Lando Norris does not improve there, and as we are seeing, we're starting to see that last sector become a little bit difficult for the tyres. Everyone, I haven't seen a green last sector for quite some time. Liam Lawson is the first green sector I have seen for some time there in P3. Esteban Ocon has slightly improved as well, but that's a very slow. His initial best last sector wasn't anything to be impressed about anyway. But yes, the last sector in particular is proving to be a bit difficult to improve on as the track temperature is 47 degrees at the moment. Is it maybe the wind direction that is causing a bit of an issue for the drivers there? Has that changed throughout the duration of this Q1 session, potentially catching the drivers out and just holding them back a little bit in relation to their confidence? Lewis Hamilton currently P5. He's crossing the line. Can he improve? No. But he is suitable. So at the moment, it is Carlos Sainz. Ollie Behrman, what a lap from Ollie Behrman. A 105.2 from him moves him up almost 10 positions there out of the bottom 5, which is currently occupied by Tsunoda, Colapinto, Sainz, Hulkenberg and Alonso as Stroll moves himself up into P12. We're into the closing stages of this qualifying session here, and there are changes across the board. Every single time a driver crosses the start-finish line, Fernando Alonso moves himself up into P8. We have 40 seconds remaining for drivers to cross the start-finish line and start their final laps. Isaac Hadjar's going green in the first sector as well. Verstappen's gone green in the middle sector, but he is safe. No doubt Norris pits as he sets the fastest lap of this session, a 104.6 from him. Carlos, as Antonelli's gone fastest in the first sector. Antonelli fastest in the first sector. Potentially a little bit of a cheeky toe from him, from Fernando Alonso, who is in front. Carlos Sainz starts his last flying lap here. He needs to dig deep, as does Nico Hulkenberg, as does Colapinto, as does Tsunoda, as does George Russell as well. He is at risk there, just above the drop zone. George Russell, our race winner last time around, as he's actually just been pushed into the bottom 5 here. So George Russell needs a clean lap. If he gets a clean one, he should be quick enough. His teammate has gone quickest in the first sector, a 29.1 for him, as Hadjar moves up into P5. Lance Stroll could be going out here in Q1, once again extended that unwanted record of most Q1 knockouts of a driver in F1 history, as Antonelli moves up into P10, a slow last sector from him. George Russell, it's slow in the middle sector from him. Is it good enough for him to move out of the bottom 5? It is. Lance Stroll is out. Esteban Ocon's out. How about Carlos Sainz? He's had a slow middle sector. He was green in the first. Can he drag himself out of the bottom 5? Carlos Sainz across the start-finish line. He cannot. He cannot. Carlos Sainz and Yuki Tsunoda have gone
out of Q1, as has Nico Hulkenberg in 20th position. Esteban Ocon has gone out in 17th, and Lance Stroll, who looked to be good in practice, was in the top 10 consistently through all practice sessions, falters when it matters most in qualifying, extends his unwanted Q1 exit record, the most out of anyone in F1 history. I tell you what, he doesn't want anyone to ever beat it, does he? If he wants a record, even if it's an unwanted record, he is making sure he sticks around for a very long time, even after he one day eventually leaves the sport. So yes, Lance Stroll 16th, Ocon 17th there, Sonoda, we were talking about it. Sonoda out in Q1 at the Red Bull Ring. Not good enough for him. Esteban Ocon in 17th, Stroll in 16th. Colapinto gets through. Colapinto has been glued to the bottom of the standings throughout practice this weekend. But when it matters, he has managed to get himself out of Q3. His teammate Pierre Gasly dug deep as well and got up into P4 there. Hadjar also a very good lap time, as also Liam Lawson as well. Liam Lawson, brilliant. But the whole field there is separated by less than 1 second. You can see Sonoda, the top 18, as Sonoda says, mate, I didn't have any front grip, bro. So Sonoda struggling, the same as what Liam Lawson did in those first couple of races. And yes, it is most definitely the car, I believe. Yellow's there to clean up the gravel, no doubt, as drivers were on the limit. But very intriguing that we saw in the latter stages there of that Q1 session that very, very few people were improving in that last sector. So the tyres at that stage, or just the track state itself, not in as good of a position in that last sector as it was at the start. And yes, the only ones who were really improving were those who set very subpar last sectors in the first instance. But yes, Ollie Behrman there getting through a good, at least one Haas has got through into Q2. Leclerc there teetering on the edge as well, only half a second. Him and George Russell and the Mercedes not looking so good. Lewis Hamilton faring a bit better than his teammate at the moment. It is only Q1, but I think what there most definitely is no doubt about is that the McLaren is the strongest car here. Lando Norris is the quickest driver, but can he overcome his issues and his mistakes to secure pole position today? We will see, but a very, very busy Q1, that is for sure. F1 needs more short tracks like this, more exciting and closer racing. I agree. At some point, it's Yuki. Enough excuses. Look, the thing is with Yuki, we always said Yuki is in a win-win situation. He goes in there and he proves himself that actually, yeah, it was the wrong decision to put Lawson in the car in the first place. If he goes there and he performs poor and he performs bad, then we've already seen a strong Yuki at the start of this season in the ERB car. So if he goes in there and he performs poorly, then we know, as I think most people know anyway, that the car is the problem. It's not the driver. And, well, what we've seen from Yuki of recent is that, yes, while he has made some mistakes, most notably Imola, it's the car. That Red Bull should not be getting out of Q1, you know? So it's most definitely the car. And Liam Lawson might be sitting there with a little bit of a smug face right now. Of course, he's got his own inter-team battle going on at the moment with Isaac Hadjar. But, yeah, it's the car. We always knew it was the car. So, but he had to take the opportunity. Gap from 1 to 2 is bigger than the gap from 2 to 14th. I know. Mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. Max is the problem, not the car. Ooh. I mean, is he the problem though? When he is so comfortably the number one driver? I mean, this is the discussion we've had many a time, of course. But yeah, look, when you've got a talent like Max, and when he's capable of proving that car can win in his hands, you're going to ultimately decide that. As Carlos Sainz says, there's damage in the car for sure. The car is undrivable. When I say undrivable, I don't know what else he's saying. I'm watching onboard of him now, and he's actually fighting the car so heavily through every corner. The amount of corrections Carlos Sainz has. So, Yeah, Carlos Sainz, damage to that Williams. Don't know, but was the damage caused by him in the first instance? This is the thing. The damage would only probably occur because he's run off at a corner. So, yeah, but Carlos Sainz, not good for him, down in 19th place. Of course, we're qualifying so tight. We know that you can't have those, the small margins matter. So, yeah. Anyway. Here we go, Q2, not long until we get back underway. Max is probably like Marc Marquez, who can just drive anything. Yeah, there's drivers out there who, of course, have a unique driving style. So the track looks lovely today. Leclerc did a great job mowing the grass. Thank you, Chitty. Much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and if you're enjoying the stream, please hit the like button. We've got 4,000 of you in here at the moment. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes. And, of course, we're over 48,000 subscribers. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. One step closer. We're getting ever closer to that 50,000 subscribers. That's what we're trying to achieve here this weekend. Can we do it? It's a tall order, I'll admit, but appreciate everyone who always tunes into these streams. And, yeah, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. It would be a brilliant milestone for us to achieve here this weekend. Why don't Red Bull go for a star driver who can be at Max's level? Because they don't want 2 number 1 drivers. They want 1 number 1 driver and a second driver, ideally, who can support Max. But they've created a scenario where the second car is so difficult to drive that that second car can't even support Max in a championship battle. So, yeah. Is what it is. That's why next season will be the best time to step into that Red Bull second seat, because it's a clean slate for them with the new regs. But anyway, we have Q2 underway here. Hamilton and Leclerc out first. They're wasting no time. They want track position and they want to get a good lap time in. 47.4 degrees Celsius is the track temperature at the moment. And, well, we'll keep an eye out on the wind direction as well. It's currently southeast, and, well, I'm not entirely sure which direction that is in relation to the map. I don't think the map is always looking north. I don't think it's at a straight north direction. But, yeah, if that wind direction changes, that may be a potential reason as to why the last sector is... The speed and the time difference that we're seeing, and those no improvements in the last sector, that's why that may have been the case. I'll have a look back through the stream after this to see if my assessment is correct, or it could just be that the track state in itself, with the gravel potentially lifted onto the circuit there by many drivers running wide, that might have caused drivers to lose just a little bit of grip as well. But let's see. Charles Leclerc is going to be the first driver to set a lap time here. The fastest lap we saw earlier on was a 1:04.6, which was by Lando Norris. Let's see what Leclerc can do this time around. Can he get into the 1:04s? I do suspect they will be able to. I do suspect we will eventually see maybe the 1:03s in Q3, but we still have to get through Q2 first. So Charles Leclerc making his way through the first corner up into turn 3. What is his first sector time? It needs to be in the low 1:16s, and, well, that's not particularly great from Charles Leclerc there. How about Lewis Hamilton as he heads up into turn 3? That's much better at 16.4. That is much better from Lewis Hamilton. The first sector from Charles Leclerc, though, he has lost a couple of attempts there, most importantly, up into turn 3. So Charles Leclerc now making his way through turn 4. Looks to have done okay there. It's all about this middle sector now. How does this Ferrari fare? The McLaren has been absolutely supreme through here. We're looking at something that's in the 28s, and, well, that's also not quite good enough. A 29.1 for Charles Leclerc. How about Lewis Hamilton? That's even worse for Lewis Hamilton, a 29.4. So that is slow from the Ferrari boys in that middle sector. We'll see if they fare any better in the last sector. Have they maybe potentially not pushed too much, as I think Lewis Hamilton looked like he was almost going into the pit lane there. A 1:05.4 for Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton probably around the same. A 1:05.6, yes, slow from both the Ferraris there on their first lap. So, not good for them. How about Alex Albon? Can he even go ahead of the Ferraris and go around the 1:05 mark? No, a 1:06. So, interesting. Very interesting there. Watching the replays to see where the drivers went off potentially, or maybe it's just a track state. Maybe that is eventually a good time. I don't know, or maybe they'll go again. The wind direction has changed from southeast to southwest now, so that may have played a factor, guys. Southwest, south, that wind direction is changing quite dramatically. You can see there at the top of your screen. So yes, that wind direction potentially having a large factor here on these drivers and their ability to hold the car into the corners around this Red Bull Ring circuit. Are they on new tyres? They were on used. Okay, there we go. I thought they was on new tyres. There we go. That explains it. So, okay, not too shabby. Not too shabby from Ferrari there on 8 lap old softs. I take it back. I take it back. That's not too shabby. Alex Albon, that explains why he did a 106 as well. If they did a 105.4 and a 105.6 on new tyres, that's something to be concerned about. But that was on used tyres, which I didn't know because the data was not updating itself. Whereas we can see, but Lawson is on a brand new fresh set, hence the 0 indicated next to that soft compound tyre. Same for Hadjar, and well, Bortoletto is on a set of used tyres, as is Ollie Behrman as well. So yes, as we normally do tend to see in the first run in Q2, yeah, there are generally the used tyres that are put onto the drivers. They just go out there, get a banking lap, get a feel for the track state in the session. And yeah, that's why Ferrari set a 105.4 and a 105.6. Understandable. Right, so drivers out there at the moment. Hadjar will be the first to come around and start his lap of the current crop with Leclerc, Hamilton and Albon in the pit lane right now. Verstappen is out on a fresh set of tyres as well, as is Fernando Alonso on a used set. Antonelli and George Russell, were they on used sets as well? It does look like it. But let's stay on board with Isaac Hadjar at the moment. He had a spin in FP3, but he seems to have recovered very well. We know that this guy has resilience, of course, after his start of the season and what he was able to achieve in Monaco as well, after hitting the barrier twice in one of the practice sessions and then ending up qualifying and finishing in the top 10. Isaac Hadjar will not be phased at all by that spin that he's already had in FP3, and he will be looking straight at this lap as he goes with a 16.699 in the first sector. Liam Lawson slightly quicker than his teammate though by nearly 2 tenths. Will he be getting a bit of dirty air from the Mercedes up ahead? Likewise, Isaac Hadjar from the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso, as Alonso, you can see there, starting to slow down to ensure that Hadjar gets past him, as Alonso is about to meet Alonso in a bit of an awkward position here. Through turn 7 is not where you want a car ahead of you, as the car is highly loaded. You want as much grip as possible, but he has gone fastest in that middle sector, a 28.971. Sorry, that's Lawson fastest with the middle sector there, but still a very good middle sector from Isaac Hadjar, but is very similar, only a few thousand separating them, as he goes second fastest, a 105.5. I still believe that there's time in there for Isaac Hadjar. How about Liam Lawson? He seems to be on it here this weekend. He comes across the finish line and he goes fastest at the moment with a 105.2. Liam Lawson 3 tenths quicker than Isaac Hadjar. Of course, the Ferraris were on used tyres when they set those lap times earlier, but they're now on a fresh set of boots. Right, so the Mercedes boys are on their laps at the moment, as Max Verstappen is also as well with a 16.488. We're going to keep an eye on Gasly though, as Piastri starts his lap. Gasly, who got through Q1. Now, Alpine has looked very poor here, and, well, he is in P5 at the moment as George Russell goes fastest in the first sector with a 16.416. Colapinto across the line. Can he get ahead of his teammate? No. A bit of a slow time there for Colapinto. Loses a lot of time in the middle and the last sector, as Lando Norris also begins his flying lap now with Piastri going fastest in that first sector, a 16.3. The McLaren's very quick at the moment. Verstappen goes fastest though with a 105.1, but intriguingly on a fresh set of tyres, unable to break the 104 second mark. We'll see if the McLarens are going to be able to do that. We saw Lando Norris do a 104.6. He is a tenth slower, or half a tenth slower than that of his teammate in the first sector. We'll see how he fares in the middle, as we are seeing drivers move up the standings now. Antonelli does a 105.6 with a 6th place as it currently stands. Piastri going fastest in the first and second sector though, as George Russell goes nearly 3 tenths slower than Max Verstappen and goes into P3. Liam Lawson, what a lap time from Liam Lawson, by the way, although Russell's time was set on a used set, as Piastri does break the 105 second barrier and does a 104.556. But Lando Norris has gone quickest in the middle sector with a 28.6. These McLarens are a cut above the rest of the field here this weekend. They are so quick, as Lando Norris goes fastest and dunks 1.5 tenths over Piastri. The gap that we have seen throughout the duration of this weekend on his teammates. He has the pace. Can he do it in Q3? But those McLarens are so quick. It is most definitely a battle between those two for pole position today, as Charles Leclerc moves up into P3, Hamilton into P4. And oh my goodness, the fact that they're nearly half us. This is a 104 second lap, guys. And the McLarens, there are 10 corners here, 8 corners, and the McLarens are nearly half a second quicker than the next best car. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable here. Max Verstappen, who was on a fresh set of tyres, I don't know if he had an issue somewhere, or if he got caught in maybe some dirty air, is 7 tenths back from Lando Norris as it currently stands. I do believe that Verstappen would be able to and will be able to get closer to those McLarens, but they are so quick, it is ridiculous. But yeah, Lawson time already good enough for Q3. Yes, Lawson, I think Lawson should be good enough. So at the moment, it is Alex Albon who is in the drop zone with Bearman, Alonso, Bortoletto and Colapinto. We're going to stay on board with Alex Albon as he's the only driver out on track at the moment who is on a push lap. As a red flag! Why is there a red flag? Oh dear, what has happened here? Is there some debris? What has happened here? Why is there a red flag? There is no debris. There is no cars out on track that are stricken. Is this due to the severe amount of gravel that happens in the last corner? Max Verstappen is reporting there's just no speed in this car, as I'm watching an onboard shot of him cross-handed there on the... As what is happening here? I don't know why there's a red flag. We are waiting for an update on that. Alex Albon, unfortunately, screwed. Yes, screwed. And he was on a push lap on a brand new fresh set of tyres. That is not going to help Albon's chances of getting into Q3. But I'm still waiting to see confirmation of why that red flag has been thrown. There's a grass fire! No, not again! Not again! We've got a fire on the track. To the side of the track, on the exit of turn 10. And, well, do you know who caused it? Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton ran over the grass, and he's actually caused that track fire, I believe. I just saw footage of Lewis Hamilton going into the grass out of the exit of turn 10, and he's caused the track fire. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. That is why we have a red flag at this moment in time, guys. There is a fire in the grass on the exit of turn 10. There we go. There we go. People do say Lewis Hamilton is hot. Well, there you go. It's so hot, he set the track on fire. Literally. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, no, I was wondering, why is there a red flag? Why is there a red flag? But yeah, that's not something I think we expected to see at the Red Bull Ring. Lewis the arsonist. I think it's Lewis Hamilton. I believe it was. I don't think it was Charles Leclerc. It was definitely a Ferrari. So, oh dear. I mean, I don't know why he was running through the grass, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I think it is definitely his car that has caused that trackside fire. So we're just waiting for that to be, obviously, put out. But yes, I've got flashbacks to Japan all over again, guys. Hamilton is doing crazy stuff. Killing the groundhog in Canada, setting fire in Austria. If the Silverstone GP was last weekend, we would probably have seen grass fires too. The track would have been burning hot. Yeah. Hang on, just listening to... What has happened there? Great now, Albon will be in traffic with everyone else. Difficult weekend on softs, making it work now this year. Well, we have 5.5 minutes remaining, just over 5.5 minutes. 5 minutes and 42 seconds to be exact at the moment of Q2 remaining. Now, the good thing is for a lot of drivers here is that it is a short lap. So it's not like they've still got plenty of time to get round and set a lap. Maybe even do 2 laps. I'm not sure. Would they be able to get 2 laps in? Probably not. Probably not. With the amount, with how busy the last 5 minutes is going to be, they've got. This is a lap shoot. This is a single lap shootout for everyone out there at the moment. Other than the McLarens, who I think are comfortable, I'd be very surprised to see the McLarens go back out there and use. I mean, they definitely won't use a brand new set of tyres, but I'd be surprised if they go back out there I don't think anyone's getting close to the 104.4 mark or the 104.5 mark. So, yeah, I think they will be comfortable. Alex Albon did do a 116.5 in the first sector, which is an improvement on his time, which was set on a U set of softs, but it's not impressive, really, to be honest with you. But, yeah, he would have been disheartened there as he was the only driver on a push lap at the time and had to bail out of it due to this red flag that we have for a trackside fire, a grass fire on the exit of turn 10, and that is what is they are attending to right now. So Q2 will resume at 47 minutes past, so we're talking just over 3 minutes at this moment in time. So yes, if you want a toilet break, guys, I highly suggest you go and do it right now, because Q2 is going to be interesting for sure. How does the tyre history panel work, Braden? So what you're looking at is basically the left-hand side is the tyres they are on currently. Now, of course, they're in the pit lane, so this is the most recent tyre they were on. But you can see, of course, the previous tyre that they were on, which is not so relevant per se to qualifying, other than if they were on a used set. So Alex Albon, as an example, went out and set his first lap time on a used set of tyres. You can see, because the number next to the tyre indicates how many laps have been conducted on that tyre. Now, if it is a fresh circle here, you can see where my mouse is. That means that George Russell went out on a brand new set of tyres. He'd done 3 laps. He's come back into the pit lane, and then where you've got this strike through the tyre, through the brackets surrounding the S, that means that he's come out of the pits on a used set of tyres. So that's how you can tell. You'll also be able to tell, of course, the usual thing will show you how many laps is next to it. So if he comes out on 3-lap-old tyres, then that's how many how old they are. So yeah, that's basically the tyre history columns for you. Was Lewis given a penalty for impeding Kimi? I don't think he was. No, I don't think he was. It seems as if Hamilton has managed to get on top of the car, matching Leclerc in the last couple of quali sessions. Yes, to an extent. I think Canada was a bit misrepresented, of course, because Leclerc got held up by Hadjar. Unintentionally held up, but held up. And Leclerc did go quickest out of anyone in that first sector. So even faster than the eventual pole position of George Russell. So who knows what Leclerc could have done in that qualifying in Canada. And of course, because he didn't set another lap in Q3, he ended up qualifying behind Hamilton. So I think Leclerc had the better of Hamilton in qualifying last time around in Canada. But yes, Hamilton has been getting more regularly closer to Leclerc in recent races. They have some updates here this weekend, but look, to be 5 tenths off of McLaren at a circuit that's only got 8 corners. There's 10 technically, but 2 of them are kinks. That is a large margin. What's very interesting is that Max Verstappen is not happy with his car. He is claiming he does not have grip at all. And we always expect Max to dig deep and get a performance out, and I still expect he will do. But I don't expect him to be fighting for pole position today after seeing what I've seen from him and from the McLarens as well. You've got a feeling this could be another Miami when it comes to the pace of the McLarens. Yeah, I mean, it's not unheard of here at the Red Bull Ring, though, is it? I mean, we have seen in times gone past the Mercedes, the Red Bull has always, even though it is a short circuit, one team can come here more often than not and completely dominate, even though it is a short circuit. And I think that's what we're seeing here, of course, a repeat of that here this weekend with McLaren. So Q2 will resume any moment, guys. Q2 will resume any moment. There we go. Green light, pit exit open. Q2 is underway. We have 5.5 minutes remaining. It is a 1-lap shootout here. There is no point in drivers going out there right this moment, because they're just going to get in the way. They're going to get the worst of the track first. They want to be out there probably as late as possible. We have seen shenanigans here in the past at the Red Bull Ring with drivers unable to start their final lap. They've been sent out too late. Most recently in the sprint qualifying, I think it was last year with Charles Leclerc comes to mind. But yes, the Red Bull Ring, while it is a short track, you don't want to be rushing around with these Pirelli tyres and not have them in the right window when you start your final lap here. So yes, just under 5 minutes remaining It's a one-lap shootout to see who can get out of Q2 into Q3. I do believe the McLarens are safe. The Ferraris may be looking at it and wanting to go again. I think the only drivers who will be happy to sit in the pit lane here and not go out again will be the two McLarens, but they may go out there just in case on the same set of tyres, but they've already done a lap on. We will see. We will see. But yes, welcome everyone. Hope you are good. Hope you are good. Welcome, welcome. Nearly 5,000 of you here in the stream. If you're going to hit that like button, please do. Thumbs up if you're liking the stream. It really does help the algorithm and push this stream and grow this great community that we've got here. Let's get it to 1,000 likes. And of course, subscribe if you are enjoying the stream. There's no obligation to subscribe, of course. But if you do, it'd be much appreciated. We are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers. It'd be a great milestone for myself and the channel. And yeah, just lets me know that you guys are, of course, really enjoying what I'm doing here. So yeah, thank you guys. You think anyone in the 104s times is safe? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think Ferrari won't risk it, though. Oh, hang on. Am I seeing... I think Lando and Piastri might be going back. I think everyone's going back out. Everyone's going back out, I think. Unless I'm seeing Norris and Piastri not moving there. I saw their speedos, so Hadjar understandably is going back out there. I do suspect, of course, Antonelli and Russell definitely need to go back out there. Verstappen's going back out there as well. Will the McLarens go back out there? Yes, the McLarens are going back out there. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I'm surprised they're going back out there. No doubt they're going to be on the same set of tyres. Yep, so used tyres for Norris and for Oscar Piastri. They are going to keep those sets of tyres on that they have already set their lap times on. Probably just want to get in the feel of it. No doubt, keep the rhythm going, you know. And I guess you never know, but, I mean, they're not under threat, let's be honest. Liam Lawson back out there. He is in P6 at the moment. He has been doing very well. 105.2 from him last time around. He's on a fresh set of tyres. Verstappen's on a fresh set of tyres. The Ferraris, are they going to go back out there? I think they are indeed going to go back out there. I can't see it just yet if they're coming out of the pit lane. There's a couple of kilometres an hour attributed to their speedometers. And yes, Charles Leclerc is going back out there. Lewis Hamilton... No, not going back out there. But let's stay on board with Isaac Hadjar, shall we? Isaac Hadjar making his way up into turn one as it currently stands. He needs to dig deep here if he wants to get into Q3 for the umpteenth time this season already. I've lost count of how many times Isaac Hadjar has got into Q3. He's been super impressive this season. Isaac Hadjar makes his way up into turn three, though. And, well, unfortunately for him, it is slower than his fastest sector in this session. So that 105.5, he is not improving in that middle sector, but we'll see if he improves in the middle sector. He has it all to do, as we see now. Ollie Behrman there improving, as is Gabriel Bortoleto as well. Bortoleto looking to make it into Q3, I believe, for the first time this season. Can the Brazilian driver do it? What a performance it would be for him in this Stake F1 car. But Isaac Hadjar, how is he through the middle sector? He does improve. That's a brilliant middle sector from Isaac Hadjar there. A 28.8. Has he been able to recover? As Norris, on a set of used tyres, does a 16.3 again. That is tremendously quick there. He's quick. He's a tenth quicker than Verstappen in the first sector on a set of used tyres. And Piastri goes even quicker with a purple. As Hadjar moves himself up into P6 and Behrman moves himself up into P8 at the moment. Hadjar moves up just ahead of his teammate Liam Lawson, but Lawson is improving as Bortoleto goes third fastest. What a lap from the Stake F1 driver. A 104.8. That's obscene from a Stake F1 car. Unbelievable lap there from Gabriel Bortoleto, but has no doubt secured him a Q3 position, a Q3 here for the first time ever in his F1. He is only a 100th behind Max Verstappen there, who has just moved himself up into P3. That is unbelievable. The teammates, the sim racing teammates, the two friends off track, well, they're side by side there. Could they be starting side by side tomorrow? Unbelievable. We'll see what Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton could do as they're starting their laps, as Norris did not improve his lap time there, as neither did Oscar Piastri, but they were on used set tyres and they are comfortably through to Q3 to shoot out for pole position, as Lawson regains the place on his teammate Isaac Hadjar by 2 tenths in P7. So it's all to do for Antonelli and George Russell. They are green in all sectors at the moment. Fernando Alonso is also improving, but it does seem like Alex Albon starting his last flying lap. So we'll see. He was the last driver to cross the line as Alonso moves up into P8. The two McLarens are in the drop zone at the moment, but no, not for much longer, as that does push Ollie Behrman out of Q2, and he will not be progressing into Q3. How about George Russell? Can he improve? He can indeed. So that's Isaac Hadjar, unfortunately not into Q3. Alonso is at risk though, as is Antonelli, as is Liam Lawson. So Colapinto is still out there, as is Albon, as is Gasly. Could we see Antonelli out of Q2 and not making it through into Q3? Charles Leclerc improves and moves up into P3. That's much better from the Ferrari driver. How about Lewis Hamilton? He's had a bit of a slow middle sector and he doesn't improve. How about Pierre Gasly though? He's green in the first sector. He's green in the second sector. That's an unbelievable lap in the second sector for Pierre Gasly, and he's moved himself into P6. It's all about Antonelli now. Can he hold on to Q3? Colapinto's currently in 15th. No, Colapinto moves himself up into 13th. It's all on the shoulders of Alex Albon. Can he drag that Williams into Q3? No! Antonelli holds on by the skin of his teeth. Oh my goodness. Alonso, Albon, Hadjar, Colapinto and Ollie Behrman are out in Q2, and we have seen Liam Lawson get through to Q3. Pierre Gasly, I don't think he's been outside the bottom 5 in practice all weekend, and he is now into Q3. Bortoleto, oh my goodness, Gabriel Bortoleto cooking this weekend. What a drive this is for him. It is only qualifying. Q3 is brilliant, but I think, look at that. Bortoleto has the potential not just to start 10th. No, he won't be happy about just making it through to Q2. He'll be happy. Oh my goodness. Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc noted for impeding. Is Lando Norris going to get pole position and then be demoted 3 places for impeding? I'm yet to see a replay of the impeding in question. I'll wait and relay it to you. But, oh my goodness. But Bortoleto, as we were saying, he'll be not happy about qualifying 10th. He'll be hoping to qualify in the top 5 if he can, or in the top 6. What a great opportunity this is for Bortoleto. No, that Stake F1 car is no longer a green tractor, is it? It's a green rocket ship. But let's see what has happened with Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Noted for impeding. We will see the level of that impeding. The TV coverage, unfortunately, has gone to an advert, so I am yet to see exactly what has occurred. Of course, it is a free-place grid penalty if you are deemed to have impeded another driver in qualifying. So, yes, Lando Norris could get pole position comfortably here, but would start from 4th place tomorrow. Not what he wants for his championship ambitions, and at a circuit where he has been comfortably the fastest man. We'll see. There's a yellow in Sector 12, no doubt to clean some gravel as well. Only 0.01 behind Max. Gabby dragging that green tractor. I don't even think he's dragging it along. I think he's just beautifully driving that green tractor. It's not a green tractor. It's had an upgrade. It's slimmed down, and it's now a green Lamborghini. He's driving that beautifully. As we mentioned, not outside the top. He's been inside the top 10 all practice. FP1, FP2, FP3. And then now he's in Q3 as well. Brilliant. Lando's turn to win. He won the coin toss. So I'm going to end the poll, actually. Let's end the poll. Hang on. I forgot that. I forgot about ending the poll. 40% of you did think Lando Norris would get pole position. Verstappen 28%, Piastri 23%, and Russell 6%. So, the Apple Watch F1 isn't working, so you found me, and so glad you did. Thank you, Lily. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I say it here always. What is very... what I really appreciate, guys, is that generally when I look at my numbers and so forth, we get a very high amount of returning viewership. It seems to be, but once you guys do discover me, you seem to stick around, and that's what it's all about, and that's the key, obviously, to any content creator. So thank you, guys. If you are enjoying the stream, and if you are new here, hit the subscribe button. Wow, 48,000, over 100 subs now. Wow, that's absolutely flown up since the start of this stream. So a big thank you, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, for the race. If you're unfamiliar with how we do things here, I will be sticking around after this session to have a chat about what we've done. We don't just dip off. We do like to chat everything that has occurred. And then we do the same tomorrow. We go live an hour before the race begins. We have a look at the strategy options, what potentially we could see in the race, have our own predictions, have our own little polls, get you guys involved. And then, of course, we go into the race. And then same thing, we stick around afterwards and we chat and take in everything that has occurred in the race, and I think it's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. As Verstappen reports, that was a bit naughty of the Ferrari in turn 3. Charles Leclerc wasn't too happy with there. So let's see if I can get a replay of what has happened with. Let's see if we can get an update on Lando Norris impeding Charles Leclerc. Let's see what occurred. No replay. Still no replay yet of the so-called impeding of Charles Leclerc. Of Lando Norris on Charles Leclerc. We'll see. Oh, no further investigation. There we go. You guys, I'm glad someone's paying attention. I'm glad someone's paying attention. Okay, so there we go. That's what we want. We don't want... I hate the whole... I mean, I get why impeding penalties have to be dished out, but I don't like it. We want drivers to be placed on the grid under merit, don't we? We want it to be sorted out on circuit. So here we go. Q3 is about to get underway. 1 minute past the hour, it is going to begin. Of course, we've had a slight delay overall to qualifying earlier on because of a red flag in F2. If you're unfamiliar with what happens, I think there's a clip on YouTube where basically one of the drivers decided to park his car on his roof. So, yeah, not how an F2 car should be placed. Of course, it wasn't his fault. But, yeah, there was a red flag for that, and that's why we had a slight delay, 5-minute delay to qualifying overall. So, yes, 1 minute past the hour, just over 2 minutes until Q3 gets underway. And it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be brilliant here. Can Max Verstappen dig deep, as we've seen him so often do in qualifying this season? What can we see from Bortoleto? I'm so excited to see what he can do, what Bortoleto can do. Liam Lawson as well. It's a long time since he's been in Q3 and outperformed Isaac Hadjar. He'll be taking confidence from this. Pierre Gasly, where has he come from? And of course, the two McLarens shooting it out for pole position. Let's see who is going to start on the front row. Can Norris finally get out of his head and actually keep the car within track limits and at least start on the front row? Even if he starts on the front row, that's better than starting bloody 5th, you know? So, no, please no bottle, Lando. Please no bottle. Watches Alex is on board. Said he's carrying damage. Seems pleased with that. Accomplished. James came on and said, we'll fix the car. So both Williams then picked up damage, did they? Okay. But, I mean, ultimately, they both picked up damage due to their own driving errors. So while, I mean, that's still a great performance by Albon to get it into P12, but still, Sainz and Albon both picked up damage due to them driving the car in a manner that meant they ran through the gravel and picked up damage. So I don't have too much sympathy for them, to be honest. I can't lie, I'm surprised both Ferraris in Q3. Yeah, I mean, I said the top 3... So my initial prediction earlier on, guys, was my top 5 was going to be Norris pole position, Verstappen 2nd, Piastri 3rd, Russell 4th, Leclerc 5th. However, I don't think that's going to be the case now, not from what we've seen. That's the beauty of predictions. You never know. But here we go. Green light, pit exit open. We have just under 12 minutes now until we find out who's going to be starting on pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring tomorrow. This is going to be the tightest qualifying margin Is it going to be the tightest qualifying margin? From what we've seen, if Lando actually does get good laps in, he's had, on average this weekend, a 1.5 tenth advantage, over a tenth advantage over his teammates. But we know his worst enemy, Lando, is himself. And so, yeah, the only driver I think who can thwart Lando Norris from pole position today is himself. So let's see how it plays out. No driver making their way out to the track at the moment. They're all waiting. It'd be interesting to see if all of them have a brand new set of softs available. I suspect Lawson, Gasly, and maybe Bortoleto, they don't have a brand new set of softs available to them. The McLarens most definitely do, as do the Ferraris as well, I believe. The Mercedes may also have two brand new sets of softs available for them, and that's a key factor here at the Red Bull Ring. You're not really going to go quicker overall when it comes to running a second lap on the same set of tyres. So happy for rookie Bortoletto. He seems to have a very good attitude and is very honest with his self-assessment. I really like Bortoletto. I really do. I mean, maybe he took it to heart that I said if George Russell became available, Stake F1, Audi would probably take him instead of Bortoletto because they have Bortoletto on a long-term contract. But, I mean, yeah, that is... We know Nico Hülkenberg, he said the car has a bit of damage maybe. Nico Hülkenberg qualifying in 20th, so not good for his aspirations of making it 3 races in a row scoring points. But what is noticeable is that the Stake F1 car, they've made improvements. I didn't think they would this year. I think it would be all about next season with Audi, but clearly they've decided to put a bit of money into the team this year, and they've developed, and, well, who would have thought we would have seen Bortoletto, Hülkenberg score those points that he has done, and Bortoletto now in Q3. Brilliant. Nobody talk about Gasly. I mean, Gasly as well, I don't know where that's come from Alpine at this moment in time, as drivers are making their way out of the pit lane, because Gasly and Alpine have been in the bottom 5 every single practice session. Like, they have struggled here this weekend, and Gasly is now in Q3. So, credit where it is due. Gasly showing his experience and why I think he's a top driver, Pierre Gasly. I'd love to see Pierre Gasly get another opportunity at a car that can regularly fight for podiums and race wins. I think he's a driver that I think would do very well at the front of the grid. Who knows? Who knows what 2026 has in store for us in the new regs? Maybe we'll see a few drivers that we don't normally see at the front next season. But anyway, we have Q3 underway here. Pierre Gasly out first, who we were just mentioning, as we predicted, on a set of used tyres. So no 2 brand new sets available for him. Interestingly, Max Verstappen is on a used set of tyres. Is Charles Leclerc on a used set? No, he's on a brand new set. Antonelli's on a used set, so that's intriguing. Mercedes don't have 2 brand new sets available for Q3, and neither do Red Bull. That is interesting. Max Verstappen will only have 1 real opportunity in this qualifying session to go for pole position, or finish as high as possible. I think the way he's been complaining about that car all throughout qualifying, he does not believe he has the opportunity to qualify on the front row, and I don't think many people do with what we've seen from the 2 McLarens. But let's stay on board with Pierre Gasly at the moment, as he is the first driver to start his flying lap here in Q3 as he makes his way through turn 1. Sector 1 is all about the entry and exit through that corner. It's the only corner through sector 1. I ignore turn 2 because it's basically not even a corner. And, well, Pierre Gasly does a 16.5 in the first sector as he makes his way into the sharp braking zone. Tight corner of turn 3. Need to be careful on throttle there and be sure not to light up the rears as it is so inviting to get your foot down early. Need to be patient, as Pierre Gasly has done. He makes his way through turn 4, but Antonelli went quicker than Pierre Gasly. Antonelli's even gone quicker than Oscar Piastri through the first sector there. Did Oscar Piastri potentially get held up by Liam Lawson? We will see. At the moment, his advantage to Lando Norris with a 16.346. He's put a 10th on his teammate in that first sector alone. We will see if that was because of Liam Lawson's positioning of his car, but Lando will also have to do the same and navigate his way round the Red Bull driver. But Pierre Gasly making his way around the last corner right now. What lap time can he set, as Piastri does a 28.792 in the middle sector, and it's a 105.6 from Pierre Gasly. There is improvement there, of course, in the Alpine as he set that lap time on a U set, as is Antonelli with a 105.2. But Oscar Piastri, he's not quickest in the first or second sector. That belongs to Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri can do a 104.5. It's a good lap time, but Lando's going quicker, and Lando Norris could be on provisional pole here. He's definitely going to get a lap time in the bank, and well, it's a 104.268. Nearly 3 tenths on his teammate, and well, Lando Norris will probably, no doubt, with that lap time, at least start on the front row tomorrow. He has finally got a lap in Q3. A 104.268. That's the fastest lap time we have seen here all weekend. Max Verstappen on a used set of tyres. That shows how much the Red Bull is struggling here this weekend, that Max only has, as Charles Leclerc has split the McLarens. Where has the Ferrari of Charles come from? Let's stay with Lewis Hamilton then. Let's see if Lewis Hamilton can improve here. He's a little bit down on his teammate in the first sector, but can he get a decent last sector? And can he further split the McLarens as Lewis Hamilton comes across the start-finish line and he goes P4. Oh, close. You do expect there is improvement for Oscar Piastri, of course, in that McLaren. But wow, Ferrari, what is occurring with you? You're 2 tenths quicker than that of George Russell, but George Russell did set his lap time on a used set of tyres. Let's see what Liam Lawson can do. He's got one more corner to contend with. He's currently in P10. He's also on a used set, and no, Liam Lawson has bowed. Oh, interesting that Liam Lawson bowed there. So, not happy with that lap. Was there an error from Liam Lawson, or did they just think it wasn't worth it? Let's bring you in and put on the fresh set of boots there. But wow, Lando Norris, as pit lane infringement involving George Russell, noted for an unsafe release. But at the moment, after that first run in Q3 with 5 minutes remaining, guys, it is Lando Norris on provisional pole. Charles Leclerc is P2. He's done a 104.492. Can Piastri, does Piastri have it in him? I don't think Piastri might not have it in him. We will see. Lewis Hamilton in P4 at the moment. I can't believe I'm looking at an alteration there of McLaren Ferrari. George Russell in P5. He's yet to set a lap time on a fresh set of tyres, as is Max Verstappen as well. So there is improvement for both of those two drivers. So the order may not stay as it currently is, with one more attempt in Q3 to come. 4.5 minutes remaining of this Q3 session. Antonelli also set his lap on a used set, as did Bortoletto, Gasly and Lawson. Well, he bowed out of his lap. As Lando did say, as his engineer said, that was a great lap. That must have felt really good. Is a 103 possible, Tasha? Probably not. I think you probably need the wind direction to favour you at this circuit. It is very wind dependent, of course. You need it in a certain direction. I think there is improvement maybe for Lando, for sure. But the last sector, but I think a 104.2 is going to be comfortable for. I just, in all honesty, I don't see anyone making 2 tenths up on Lando there. On their lap times, they've already set. The only one that can is maybe Oscar, but he has had slightly. He has had the pace around a tenth quicker. He's been around a tenth quicker than Piastri. Piastri needs to make up 3 tenths on the lap time. He is set there, and that's a tall order for him, I think. So, but he'll be happy to at least start on the front row tomorrow and have an opportunity. It's a very long run down into turn 3, of course. It's a very, very opportunity. As Russell says, Matt, I can't. Oh no, George Russell might be getting a penalty for that unsafe release. That was pretty much a slam dunk there. So thank you, Lily. Yeah, I mean, I try to know what I'm talking about. I'm not always correct, but yes. Lewis is still new to the Ferrari. Give him time. Yeah, look, this year, this set of regs, Lewis has been very poor. So yeah, these big bulky cars, it's not what the likes of Alonso, Hamilton, the older statesmen, shall we say, of the sport, it's not what they're used to. So yeah, it's not what they like. These are the heaviest, largest, widest, longest F1 cars in history, and that's why, of course, we'd love to get back to the shorter, smaller, lighter, nimbler cars, as I'm sure many of the drivers would like to as well. But here we go, one last run in Q3 coming. Who is going to end up on pole position? You guys overwhelmingly voted for Lando Norris. Is that lap time good enough? Can he improve? Can Oscar Piastri dig deep here? Of course, it's a very long race tomorrow at the Red Bull Ring. Qualifying is just one element, and this track is a circuit where you can overtake. But of course, Oscar Piastri will want to extend his 22-point lead at the top of the championship standings at the moment. And, Lando Norris, of course, wants to decrease that. So let's see how they fare. Everyone is going to be on a fresh set of boots here, and that's going to be very interesting in the closing stages. If you have enjoyed today's stream, guys, hit that like button. Of course, get us over to 1,000 likes, and hit the subscribe button as well. Close, very, very quickly approaching 50,000 subscribers. Be much appreciated. Nearly 7,000 of you in the stream right now. And we'll be back tomorrow, of course, for a very, very interesting race at the Red Bull Ring. It's one of my favourite tracks of the calendar. And, well, what better than to head to Silverstone next week as well. Great back-to-back races we have in store for us. So Pierre Gasly is starting his lap first. 1 minute 20 remaining of this session. We'll keep an eye on Max Verstappen as well. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to keep an eye on Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly, we will keep one eye on him, but our main focus is on Max at this moment in time. He has struggled here this weekend, but he's on a fresh set of tyres. We know he can dig deep. He's done it so often this season, but is that Red Bull in a position for Max to split the McLarens or even snatch pole position at a circuit he so much, very much loves? So through turn 3 for him. And well, Verstappen, it's a 16.4 in the first sector. He's around a 10th down on Lando Norris's first sector time at the moment, but it is around the same time as Piastri in that first sector, as George Russell has just gone fastest out of anyone in the first sector. Purple from George Russell. Have we written off the Mercedes too early? Have we written off the Ferraris too early? Charles Leclerc, a fastest first sector from him. There's purples being traded left, right and centre here. And there's a yellow flag as Pierre Gasly has gone off at the last corner. Has he binned it? Can he get going? That's going to affect Oscar Piastri, as Oscar Piastri will not be able to improve on his lap time there. Terrible timing for Oscar Piastri, and he will not be able to improve on his lap time as he's currently P3. This could go from bad to worse for Oscar Piastri as he was coming through the last corner. Verstappen goes P7 and stays where he is. The checkered flag is out. Lando Norris is going even quicker, as is Charles Leclerc as well. And Piastri, well, Hamilton's improving. Can he improve? George Russell couldn't improve there. So Piastri, he won't be on pole position, but can he potentially get away with it? As Charles Leclerc, a 19.4 from him in the last sector. Very, very slow, but Lando's going even quicker. He doesn't care. He doesn't know Oscar can't improve, but Lando is going to improve. And oh my goodness, we've just seen a 103. Oh, you do not understand how bloody ridiculous that lap time is. Oh, Lewis Hamilton, can he split? Oscar, no! Oscar Piastri. Well, how about Kimi? There are still drivers on a push lap. And no, it's only Gabriel Bortoleto. Let's stay on board with Gabriel Bortoleto then, because Antonelli has been held up by traffic. He's had to bow out of his lap. Gabriel Bortoleto currently in P9 with many drivers getting affected by that yellow flag. This could be unbelievable for Gabriel Bortoleto. Where can he qualify? He's coming across the finish line. Oh, it's only P8, but still unbelievable from Gabriel Bortoleto in the Stake F1 car. His first ever Q3 session. He's going to be lining up alongside his good friend Max Verstappen, his sim racing teammate. And well, that is it for the qualifying here in the Red Bull Ring. Pierre Gasly putting a stop to any potential comeback for Oscar Piastri and him qualifying on the front row or in first. But to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think anyone had any answer to the pace of Lando Norris here this weekend or today in qualifying. A 103.9. A 103.9. That is unbelievable. I didn't think we'd see it, but Lando Norris, he truly does love this circuit. And well, job number one done for Lando. We said the only person and the only driver who could get in his way of qualifying on pole today was himself. And well, he has overcome that challenge. Charles Leclerc will start P2, a Ferrari on the front row. What is happening here? Charles Leclerc, P2, unbelievable. We know he's feisty at race starts, so it's not job done for Lando Norris yet. Oscar Piastri in P3. It's a very long run into turn 3 tomorrow. Of course, Lewis Hamilton in P4, George Russell P5, Lawson is in P6. Lawson in P6. I'm watching the replay. Pierre Gasly just went straight into the gravel. Oh my goodness, he went. Gasly didn't just skim the gravel; he was fully within the gravel, and he went into. He didn't just do a 360. He did a 540, or whatever my maths are. He went round 3 times, 4, whatever. But yes, unfortunately, the yellow flag was still showing, which meant that Oscar Piastri's lap, he could not start it at full speed. Neither could Max Verstappen, as I'm watching the onboards. Neither could George Russell. And yes, could Gabriel Bortoleto. Hang on. I think Gabriel Bortoleto... I think Gabriel Bortoleto might have his lap time deleted and he may be penalised. It'll put a sour note to his qualifying, but he was behind Max Verstappen, and I believe that yellow flag was still showing when Bortoleto was approaching it. We will see. I'm just relaying what I saw there. It might have disappeared by the time Bortoleto got there, but it does seem like that Bortoleto was going. He was directly behind Max. Max bowed out of his lap, correctly so, which is why he's only 7th. It also affected Kimi Antonelli, and it also affected George Russell as well. So, we'll see. But there we go. Double yellow at turn 10. Piastri's lap time deleted. Yeah, that was at the last corner. So Piastri did slow down. He was starting his lap, and he was behind. He was the first car behind Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri. It was the first car behind Pierre Gasly. But let's run through our provisional starting grid tomorrow. Let's have a look. Lando Norris is pole position, a 103.9. He's put half a second on Charles Leclerc, and well, to be honest, he would have been quicker than anyone anyway, even if Piastri got a lap time, and he's been on top all session. All weekend. He's topped every single session, apart from FP1, which he gave up his car to Alex Dunn, of course, for that rookie test. Charles Leclerc, though, starting on the front row, much better improvement for Charles Leclerc, but still be worrying that they're half a second behind McLaren. Oscar Piastri, P3, as we mentioned, got his lap time interrupted there because of Gasly's spin out the last corner. Lewis Hamilton in P4, nearly about a tenth, just under a tenth behind Charles Leclerc. It's not too shabby from Lewis Hamilton. What will they do tomorrow in the race, Ferrari? George Russell in P5. Lawson, P6. What a result from Liam Lawson, by the way. That's kind of gone under the radar. Much better improvement from him. He's actually out-qualified Verstappen, but we know Verstappen probably would have improved, most doubtedly improved, as that first lap time was set on a used set of tyres. And unfortunately, he got caught in those yellow flags thrown by Gasly. Gabriel Bortoletto, I hope his lap time stands. I hope I'm wrong. I need to see it again from his particular on-board, but it does look like with Max Verstappen moving out of the way and slowing down for yellows, I'm not sure if Bortoletto was still in that yellow zone when the flags were there. We will see. Antonelli also got held up by those yellow flags, I think, as we know Gasly spun out of the last corner. And there we go. That is the top 10. Fernando Alonso qualifies in P11. Albon in P12. Hadjar 13th. Colapinto 14th. Behrman 15th. Stroll 16th. Ocon 17th. Tsunoda, big loss there in Q1, 18th for him. Another Q1 exit for Yuki Tsunoda, struggling in that second Red Bull seat. Carlos Sainz had damage to his car, but caused by his own driving of running through the gravel. And Nico Hulkenberg, I think, had maybe damage or mechanical issues as well, which is why he is down in 20th. And that is our provisional grid for tomorrow. Hopefully, this is our grid for tomorrow, because I think this is a great grid for the Red Bull Ring tomorrow. We have 71 laps, around 70-odd laps here tomorrow at the Red Bull Ring. It is a track where we can see overtaking. That is the beauty of the Red Bull Ring. But you do suspect, with the pace that Lando has here, and if he gets clean air and defends that position from Charles Leclerc and his teammate after the first lap, he will just have too much pace and will drive off into the distance. So we'll see. We will see. Top 4, same as Monaco. Oh, yeah, it is, except Lewis doesn't have a free-place grid penalty this time around. But, yeah, that is it, guys. That is it. What an exciting grid for tomorrow. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it there. Wow. Gasly kind of spoiling it a little bit, though. Gasly did spoil it. I would have loved to have seen Piastri go back at Norris. But, look, it provides us an interesting grid tomorrow, doesn't it? Could argue that it was Lewis's best quali all season, and it's a P4. I don't know. I think the sprint quali is better. The sprint quali in China was better, wasn't it? So, what does Stroll's world record stand at now? I don't know, Lee, to be honest with you. It's more than it was a few races ago. He's extended it, so. Suspension upgrade still to come for Ferrari as well. Yes, while that is an improvement for Ferrari, for sure, we didn't see a lap there from Verstappen on fresh tyres. We didn't see a lap in the end there for George Russell, I think, on fresh tyres either. And there's still half a second off of Lando Norris there. And Piastri probably would have improved and got ahead of Charles Leclerc. So it's better from them. You have to take the rub of the green. You have to take it when it's given to you. But primarily, there's still some way off. We'll see what the race is tomorrow. Has in store for him. I'm a little mad at Gasly because that wasn't a skim. That was a whole slip and slide. It was, wasn't it, Mimi? He didn't just dip a wheel in the gravel. He was fully over into the gravel when he kept his foot in it, I think. So, yeah. Bortoletto is safe. He slowed down before the yellow flag, then could start his lap. Did he? Okay. Hopefully that is the case, Gustavo. Hopefully that's the case. Good. He deserves it. He deserves that P8. Verstappen was most undoubtedly in the yellow zone, and he did have to slow down. So, can we review why Hadjar could not make it into Q3? He just looks like he hasn't quite been on the pace compared to his teammate here this weekend. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes a track suits your iron better than another. And yeah, that's why Hadjar has just not had the confidence per se as what Lawson had. There's still small margins between them, but it's going to happen. That you're not going to be on top necessarily at every track. Lawson is still a good driver. I think people do Lawson a bit of disservice because of what happened at the start of the season with Red Bull. I mean, he got into that seat for a reason. He did a very good job in the 2 times that he had to step in to the RB seat. And yeah, I mean, he's still a very good driver, and he needs to build his confidence up, doesn't he? Ultimately. So this would be a good start for him to do that. Lewis FD's last sector, he would have been P3. Yeah, the last sector, he's lost a bit of time over Charles most of this weekend, from what I've seen. So, improvement there for Lewis. Maybe not liking that Ferrari so much in the last sector. But coming up on like 20 months of McLaren having the fastest car, how have they done this and how has no one really caught up? So, what's happened is initially, I still believe Red Bull were pegged back. I think they had to remove an asymmetric braking device or something of the like. It's too coincidental that when that came out, Red Bull started to lose performance. They started to lose the advantage on their tyres, and you started to see them get understeer for the corners and have the show characteristics in their car that would be what you would see from removing such a device. I'm not too disappointed about that because what it did, it provided us at least an intrigue in the championship battle last year. Of course, Norris wasn't able to even, in the end, contend with it. And what has happened now is that I think you've seen Red Bull, what they have done is that they have lost key personnel. They've gone in the wrong direction, potentially with the development as well, by losing that key personnel. McLaren have hired very well over the previous few years. If you go back to look at their recruitment, there is always a delay when you hire people in F1, and then their experience and their knowledge being actually coming to the forefront of a car, because there's always the 6-month gardening leave in F1, and then, of course, they've then got to get into the detail of the car and implement what they want to be done on the car. So it can sometimes be a season and a half from someone joining to then them being announced that they're going to be joining to then actually them having an actual effect on the car's performance. And that's what I think we've seen at McLaren. They've hired very well, recruited very well over the past few seasons. And with that, with the pegging back of Red Bull a little bit as well, they have just developed so well. And of course, you look at their brake system, the way that they're able to manage their brakes and so forth, that's where their true advantage is this year, is that they're able to look after their tyres and keep them in a better window, better than everyone else. But yeah, let's have a look at the sectors. I know you always like to look at the sectors, Dusko. So here we go. So this is the fastest sectors that drivers set throughout qualifying. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's from their fastest lap, but you can see where drivers are strong, and you can see there that Norris quickest across all sectors there with that 103. A brilliant lap there. 2 tenths quicker than anyone. 3 tenths quicker almost. 2.5 tenths quicker than anyone in that middle sector. Like, just, he's got that McLaren just so locked in here at the Red Bull Ring. George Russell and Antonelli, interestingly, and the Ferraris quick in that first sector. It is only one corner, but they are quick in that first sector, and that is where overtaking is majority done here at the Red Bull Ring and down into turn 4. But yes, Verstappen pretty handy in the middle sector as well. But yeah, for the most part, you can see there the McLarens are just super quick here, super quick. Zach Brown made what McLaren is today. Yeah, you have to put and attribute a lot of McLaren's success to Zach Brown, because he is the head guy, head honcho. He is the one who helps recruit those individuals, and he is also very knowledgeable in motorsport. I mean, he used to be a racing driver himself. He is involved in United Autosports as well, which is a LMP2 team in the World Endurance Championship. So he is people who, I say, do a disservice to Zach, don't really know what they're talking about. He's a very, very knowledgeable man, and yeah, he's very influential in where McLaren are today. Can we get a Stewart to S3? It's a bit slidey. The race is pretty much over. Podium is locked between top 3. You reckon? I don't know. I mean, look, the Red Bull Ring, we've seen drivers this weekend spin a lot, and that could happen tomorrow. I think we're going to see a safety car tomorrow. I think we really are, and that's going to spice things up. I think we could see multiple safety cars tomorrow. I don't think we'll see red flags, but I think we're going to see a few spins for sure. And yeah, that always spices things up, doesn't it? They retired Lawson's car last race to protect the new engine. Ah, did they? Fair enough. Which race was it where Lawson kept Verstappen behind for some time? Oh, God knows, John. God knows. You challenge me to have a clean shave if Max wins World Drivers' Championship this year. You'd have to run that past the missus. I don't think she'd be too happy if I have a clean shave. Guys, we are only 18 likes away from 1,000 likes. It'd be great if you could hit that 1K mark. It'd be much appreciated. The Dutch Grand Prix 2023. Maybe. It may be the case. Turn 1 incident, Oscar runs into the back of Lando. Maybe. I mean, look, from what we saw... there could be a very early safety car. From what we saw yesterday... if you watched the F2 races earlier and you watched the F3 races, honestly, like, they were chaotic. And some of the driving that we've seen in F1 this year as well, it wouldn't surprise me if we see incident up into turn 3 tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised to see Max get third, never rule out Max. No, I mean, starting 7th. Yeah, what is Max going to do? Lawson will move out of his way pretty sharpish, I imagine. George Russell, I mean, we're going to see Russell. Are we going to see Russell and Verstappen fight tomorrow? Yes, please. Yes, please. Russell and Verstappen tomorrow. Could that be where the safety car is in? George Russell's going to try everything in his power to get Max a penalty as well, isn't he? Oh, I'm all here for it tomorrow. Bring it on. Tomorrow's going to be so good. Not just because of that, but just because of how this order is at the moment. And I love this circuit. Kimi didn't even get to start his lap. Yeah. Well, no, he did. He did, but then I mean, he did technically, but I think he probably had to bail out of it. You can see there his first sector was a 16.3, so that's quick, but he probably had to bail out of it. The team probably told him to just slow down, maybe. Or maybe Gasly was just going too slow. I don't know. John, you've heard that McLaren have developed a technology that keeps their tyres and brakes cooler, a certain substance on the rim that absorbs heat. Yes. Yep, that's primarily where a lot of their advantage is at the moment. So it's not their only advantage, but it's one of their main advantages for sure. He said McLaren would join WC if they scrapped that rule. What rule was it? Because of the levelling up feature they do by putting weight in the car. Well, they actually are joining because they've just announced and revealed their prototype for, or their kind of concept for McLaren's hypercar. So yes, they are joining the World Endurance Championship, but that is something that they do need to sort out for sure. The BOP in the World Endurance Championship seems to be very, I say unfair. It doesn't seem to be very balanced. I mean, it's supposed to be balance of power, but yeah, or balance of performance, isn't it? I think that's what it stands for. It's not very balanced at the moment. They seem to be getting it more wrong than they are correct. So yeah. Predictions, you have Oscar in second tomorrow. I think so. Yeah, I think it'll be an easy 1-2 for McLaren tomorrow, to be honest with you. I think Piastri, even if Leclerc holds on to P2, there's no guarantee that Norris will hold on to P1, but let's say Norris does hold on to P1. I think Piastri will comfortably get past Leclerc. I think the McLaren quite easily has the pace here to get past Charles, especially if Norris pulls away from Leclerc and Leclerc loses the toe and the DRS. He'll definitely be vulnerable from McLaren because they just have so much traction out of the corners. So, are Austrian and Styrian Grid GP the same? Yes, they are. Yeah, they only had different names because they had two different. There was two races at the Red Bull Ring in COVID times. So. There was a review in that McLaren Tech, and they said that it's a heat siphon sucking out the heat from the drum brakes using the engine revs. Yeah, so the FIA investigated it because it was appealed, and they said it's just innovative. They said, yeah, it's innovative, it's not cheating, and McLaren have clearly gained an advantage over the rest of the field by some great minds. And yeah, Red Bull came out and they said, okay, that's the FIA's ruling, fair enough. So, did you say Lawson will be ordered by Red Bull to allow Max to overtake? Yes, John. Yeah, there is always an unwritten rule. I'm sure it's in their contracts that they have to let the main team by. They have to not fight. And I also think there's probably an unwritten rule somewhere, or it might even be in their contracts. I don't know. But if a competitor of Red Bull is behind them, fighting for position, the RB team, they have to try everything in their power to hold them up. And I think that's I think that is what happens. So, Lizard King, thank you for the 1,000 hoof. Norris has a new suspension developed and set up finally for his driving style. It's early, but I'm feared the championship is already over, guys. What, for Norris? What, for Oscar Piastri, you mean? Or do you think for... Or do you think Oscar Piastri's got the championship done, or do you think Norris has got the championship done? Look, we said this earlier. I do think Lando Norris... Thank you for over 1,000 likes, by the way, guys, and for the continued subs. I do think Lando Norris would comfortably lead in this championship if he had no mistakes. Now, it's always some buts, but I think primarily Piastri, he's no slouch. He has been quick. I said it at the end of the last stream. But I think overall, if you look at who has been the fastest driver in all the sessions until it comes to Q3 and even in the race, the majority of times it's been Lando. But Lando has been the master of his own downfall. I mean, he led 20 points after the first race and he's now 22 points behind. There's no one to blame but himself in that regard. Whereas Piastri, as we mentioned, has not qualified outside the top 4. Like, 4th place has been his lowest qualifying position this year. Miami, which he eventually won from 4th place, and then Canada last time out as well. So he has been super consistent, and you don't always need to be the fastest driver across the season. Especially a long season like 24 race weekends, you don't always need to be the quickest. You just need to be sometimes the most consistent driver. And that's what Piastri has done. That's no disservice to him, and that's why he's got a 22-point lead at the moment. Whereas Lando, it's all well and good being a quicker driver, but it's no good if you foul under pressure. But Lando has got past that pressure today, and has set 2 great lap times and is on pole position. Lee, you're a McLaren fan. Lando is your man. Hoping Oscar can get some dirty air for a couple of laps, get Lando some space before Oscar gets into second. Yeah, I mean, that'll be his plan, of course. It's a long run up into turn 3. It's not easy. It's not easy. Norris, if he gets a decent start off the line, should be comfortable for him. Probably just needs to cover off the inside into both corners, turn 3 and turn 4, and it's easy peasy. Just don't even give Leclerc or Piastri a sniff up the inside. Just don't do it. Just cover it off. Use that battery that you need. You know you've got the pace with the clean air to pull out that eventual gap on whoever's behind you, Leclerc or Piastri. So, do I think it counts as cheating having a second team use driver orders for the other teams? Yes, I do. I don't like it. I think it should be banned, but it's very difficult to prove. So I think there's a lot of incidents over the years where where it's been too coincidental that the RB team or an RB driver has ended up holding up the main competitor to Max Verstappen. So a clever low drag heat duct design of some sort. Yes, they're able to with McLaren's brake ducts, they're basically able to, I believe, direct the air either towards the tyre or away from the tyre at certain levels. Not during the race or on track, because it's not allowed to be an active system, but can be remotely controlled from the pit lane. It has to be something that they alter in the pits. But yeah, they're able to basically control that to an extent and manage it much better, and direct the heat away, either away from the tyre or into the tyre, to ensure that they stay in the correct window, depending obviously on what track they're at. So Sauber strategy will put Bortoletto behind Hulkenberg anyway. Oh god, yeah, I really hope not. I mean, Bortoletto looks pretty racy here. So glad that he's qualified P8. What a lap it was for him. Will Russell get a penalty point for the penalty for the pit lane incident? They will. Will they give him a one-place grid penalty? Potentially. I can't remember if it's a fine for a pit lane infringement like that, or if it's a one-place grid penalty. It might be a one-place grid penalty, so Lawson may be promoted to P5. And, yeah, Max and George Russell will be starting just ahead of Max Verstappen, so that may be the case. VCARB was the fastest lap merchants last season when Max can't set it due to strategy. A VCARB will always pit from the last. Yeah, that happened so many times. So many times. So, yeah, I don't think it's right. I don't think they should have that sort of advantage, and that's why I'm kind of glad that the fastest point has been removed. So yeah, no, they were deployed in some instances to do that. Effectively, they have 4 team members. Yes, pretty much. But they say they won't. They will say, no, they're an independent team that make their own decisions. Yet Christian Horner has the say-so over every driver that goes in or out of the team. Yet they're an independent team that make their own decisions. Yeah, all right. But anyway, guys, that is it for this live stream. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed. What a qualifying session. Lando Norris on pole position for tomorrow. He's finally got one done. And, well, when he's qualified on pole, I believe he's won the race thus far this season. Australia, Monaco. I think that's it. Has he qualified on pole anywhere else this season, guys? Let me double check just before we dip off. Is he? I think he's only qualified. I think this is only his 3rd pole, isn't it? That's it. Yeah. So let's have a look. Yeah, China he was 2nd. Japan he was 2nd. Bahrain. He was 6th. Yeah. So whenever he's been on pole, he's won. He's 2 for 2. I do think he'll make it 3 for 3 tomorrow, but yeah, we will see. Hang on. But there we go. That is it. Thank you for all the subs, by the way. Over 48,200 subs now. Fast approaching the 50,000. Tall order for us to hit it tomorrow, but I'm sure we can get close. Big thank you as always. I'm going to end this stream and it's going to send you to the stream for tomorrow. So hit the like button and, yeah, bookmark it, put your notifications on, and we will see you an hour before the race begins at 1 p.m. UK time. Have a lovely rest of your Saturday, guys, or Sunday morning for you, and we will see you for the Red Bull Ring, the Austrian GP tomorrow, which I think is going to be an absolute brilliant race. It always provides here, and I'm sure it's going to do tomorrow. Thanks as always, guys. See you then. Bye.